What are some products that doTERRA offers from a good, better, best standpoint?
To start with, again, in the morning, being more hydrated. Often we go for a caffeinated beverage because we want energy. The downside of that is we're going to just dehydrate ourselves further. So first and foremost in the morning, having some recharge in that water with our lemon, things that are going to create energy in the body at a natural cellular level. So we're not using caffeine or different additives that are going to eventually deplete our cells and deplete our energy later.
Okay, we are ready to get started and help you curate your own wellness plan, create a blueprint. This is something that's super near and dear to my heart. A lot of us struggle with developing a wellness plan. We see in society that people are overweight, they're not feeling well, not sleeping well. They just don't feel well in general, and they have no idea where to start. So about 25 years ago, when I became a mom, that's when I really dove into like natural wellness. But in that time, there really wasn't a lot of resources to guide me on what is the most effective thing to do for my children. Was it herbs? Was it homeopathics? Was it essential oils? So my children essentially became my test subjects. And so today we're really going to help you understand, where should I start? What areas of my life am I struggling with the most? And give you some tools that you can get started slowly so it's not overwhelming. For me and my journey about 25 years ago, I looked into homeopathics, herbs, essential oils, and just found them to be the most effective. I did raise my kids all natural. That was my goal. I cloth diapered. I gave them raw milk. We did natural foods, natural supplementation. But for me, it was a little chaotic just trying to like navigate all of that. But we were successful. So I had a lot of eyebrows raised at me. A lot of people wondered why I wasn't using conventional modern medicine, why I chose natural medicine. And they really were watching that I would probably fail more than anything. But I can actually say that all of my kids were raised 100% natural. And now my grandson, by my daughter-in-law and son, is being raised the same. And that's probably, to me, something that just I hold so dear to my heart, to watch that as more generations are growing, they're learning to really listen to their bodies. And I actually see that with my grandson. Like if he gets a boo-boo, he knows that he needs an oil. He'll go get the oils. He also likes to put the Serenity stick on his feet at night. Like he has learned to like listen to his body. He knows at nighttime, that's when we put Serenity on. So that's actually how our guest today got introduced to oils. Her daughter, Sydney, was struggling with an illness, and modern medicine just wasn't working for her. And so she knew that I had been trying some alternatives. And so she started to navigate and try this. And so that's what kind of started her journey. So Erin's also my childhood best friend. She's been beside me in some weddings and most recently in my last wedding, which will be my lifelong relationship. So Erin is a best friend of mine and has a wealth of knowledge. So Erin, help us understand like what brought you into the wellness space, what you do currently, and how life is for you.
Yeah, fortunately, I've known Jen most of my life, and I had a good role model to look up to in pursuing these natural modalities and lifestyle. And, fast forward from that, like, oh my gosh, like 20 years, I always say to the clients that I'm working with now, think about what our ancestors did, 100 years ago and how they lived. And obviously they had different things that challenged them. But if we go back to what our roots were, we tend to find more balance there. So to go backwards, I fortunately had this guide in Jen to not only show me these natural modalities, but to just see the lifestyle that she was trying to live. And I use that as a guide. And through doTERRA, which we're going to talk to you a lot about today, I found that takes you on a journey. Some people call it their wellness journey, whatever kind of journey that you go on during this, it took me in the avenue of nutrition. And I love the philosophy by Hippocrates that food is medicine. And I think that a lot of times we have lost our way with that. And so about 5 years ago, I took a nutrition course, and I see clients at a gym in Carlisle at the Med Gym. And I also do some private coaching too. And then with that, I feel like I'm a lifelong learner. I got some certifications as a functional health coach, which allows me to do functional lab testing and different things like that. So much like Jen, I've used my family members as my test subjects and have been able to help them out and support them. And my goal is really just to help empower individuals, whether it be moms, teenagers. I feel like I have a lot of teenagers that I work with in being their own healers and really taking and being an advocate for their own health and wellness.
Yes, awesome. I'm so excited to have you here. You have a wealth of knowledge that I know are going to learn so much from you today. And it's really going to help everyone just curate a wellness plan to move forward with. It's very simple. I feel like that's something that you always help us do, is do things that are simple and doable and attainable. So if you are just joining us and listening and you would like to take this wellness assessment, we actually have in our show notes a very simple wellness assessment. You can pull it up. If you're like me, I will be totally honest, I would probably look at this wellness assessment and just be like, okay, these are the numbers. This is where I stand, right? You could print it out. You could take your time and do it methodically. But this will help you understand these are the areas that I need to really focus on. These are my most troublesome areas. So like I said, you can pause this, go into the show notes, pull that up and take a peek at that wellness assessment. And then you can go ahead and hit play, or you can be the fly by the seat of your pants type of girl that I am and just take a quick peek at it while you're listening, figure out what areas you want to focus on. And then when Erin is talking about the good, better, best options, so we are going to take you through a couple different areas of health, and we're going to tell you the good, the better, and the best options. So if you just want to like dip your toe in water, kind of know, like get a little bit into it, or if you are like all in, you're going to do the polar plunge, you can do that as well. So we are going to start with some foundational wellness. We're going to start with nutrition and digestion, and this is where Erin is the expert, and she's going to take us through some products. And really, this is the foundation of all health. I know for some of you, it might not feel like the sexy part of health. Like you want to maybe drop some weight, or you want to start being that crazy person throwing and ditching out all your toxic products and putting in the swaps of clean products. That might feel like you're doing a little bit more, but really the foundation of health is nutrition, because we lack it. We cannot get it with the foods that we eat. We just simply cannot attain what we need nutritionally in a day with just our foods. So Erin, do you want to take us through our good, better, best options with our foundational wellness, our nutrition portion?
Yes. So our good option, just like Jen said, unfortunately, we can't get all that we need from our food source from a variety of issues, farming, the amount of herbicides, chemicals, not crop rotating like they could be or should be, not using regenerative farming practices. So we really need to supplement those gaps. And the VMG would be our good option. So this is VMG, vitamins, minerals, and greens, plus we're getting some probiotics in there, digestive enzymes, some antioxidants, and phytonutrients. Then our better option would be also that VMG plus, in addition to omega-3s. So unfortunately, we're getting way too many omega-6s in our diets because of seed oils, just the diets that we have in general tend to have those omega-6 that create so much inflammation in the body. So we need that omega-3s in our diet that unfortunately, we're not always eating, that wild caught Alaskan salmon every day. That's going to give us those good omega-3s. So supplementing, again, is going to support us there. And then our best option is going to be doing the VMG plus the omegas, as well as PB Restore, which is our amazing pre and probiotic, which also has phages in. Phages are awesome because they target out viruses. We all have viruses in our body, and it helps to support and give our digestive health just more balance.
Oh, that's awesome. So one thing that we like, so in doTERRA, we used to have our LLV, which were capsules. So we had to take, what was it, 12 capsules? Yeah, 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon. So it was like 12 capsules a day just to get our vitamins, minerals, and omegas. So now we have a packet. So we have those little omega packets there. It's just a powder.
Yeah.
So it's a quick mix up and it tastes really good. Like you just mix it up with a little frother. It tastes really good. It's simple to do. So it's not like you have to take a bunch of pills. So if you're someone who doesn't like to take capsules, you don't have as many to take anymore. And then our EO omegas, you can actually chew these. Do you chew them?
I do.
I actually chew them too.
Yeah.
I don't mind swallowing capsules, but they taste so good because they have the wild orange in there.
Yeah.
So if you are someone who's like, well, I can never take supplements because I can't swallow pills. You do not have an excuse anymore, right?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so we have our good, better, best for our foundational wellness, but digestion can play a huge role in so many parts of our life because our gut is like our second brain. I mean, I know when my stomach is nauseated or I have gas pains or any of that, like it's so uncomfortable, like you just cannot function well. So, there's so much to our digestive system. We have our largest part of our immunities in there. We have all of the microbiome. So help us with navigate, like what are some good, better, best options if someone struggles with digestively, like they have some stomach issues?
Yeah. I think, and I work with a lot of my clients, is just being hydrated, especially first thing in the morning. So just even adopting the routine of having 20 ounces of water with some lemon essential oil in, and a little bit of sea salt, and then top it off with some Terrazyme, just so you're helping the body to break down whatever you're going to put in it very soon afterwards. And then the better option in my mind is still hydrating, getting some lemon, getting some Terrazyme, but then also adding maybe some Digestion, whether it be the oil, the soft gels. We love the tabs in our home. So just having something like that and then taking it a step further by making sure you're getting your Restore or PB Assist in the morning. It's really good to have those probiotics in the morning, especially we should be more active then. So it's good to help feed that microbiome, like you mentioned, having our Terrazyme, having whether it be a ginger oil or another digestive oil that's just going to support that digestive system to do what it's supposed to do and support us in all the ways that we need it to.
Yeah, I love ginger oil. And I think we've mentioned on the show before, but a lot of times people need to like play with different products, play with different oils, and maybe one oil works so well for me, but doesn't work as well for you. I have found that ginger is such a magic oil for me in so many ways. And Nick's son, Travis, actually had been under the weather and he had been using, I think, some Digestion at his mom's. And then he came to my house and I was like, oh, Travis, like, I love ginger. It works really good for me. Let me make you a roller bottle. And he was like, I cannot believe the difference in how I'm feeling. So we found that oil works well for him. So sometimes it's just playing with some products. And that's actually an area that you are really helpful in with the tests that you can do. And you can kind of pinpoint, like, this might be the best product for you, looking at your microbiome. If you do, checking, stool samples and the gut, it sounds very not fun, but yeah, I mean, that's what you do to check how things are functioning in the gut. Yeah. I mean, it's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So just don't forget, as we're going through this, it might feel a little overwhelming as we're going through all these different options, but just remember, take a look at where you scored the highest and need to really hone in on that area. And as we're talking about that, really just focus on that area and those changes and decide what you want to do. Don't try to do everything at once, because you will get overwhelmed and then you will do nothing, right? Like if we get overwhelmed, we just shut down. So we are going to move on to movement and metabolism. So we know the CDC reports that like 41.9% of Americans are obese. That number has steadily increased over the last few decades. And along with obesity comes chronic inflammation. It puts a lot more pressure on our bones, our joints. And so we don't feel good if we're like a little bit overweight, even a lot overweight. We can feel a lot more pain. It's harder to move. We'd rather sit still because the more we move, the more it hurts. So what they found is if you can reduce the weight even by like 5 to 10%, you will have less inflammation. And we know the root cause of all disease is inflammation. And so if we can just reduce that 5 to 10% on your weight, there's a lot less pressure. You're not having those inflammatory cytokines in your body as prevalent. And so we really want to look to getting a little weight off. Obviously, always consult your doctor, but doTERRA has a lot of products to really support your metabolism, help you with movement, help with some of that inflammation so that you feel a little bit more like moving, even if you are a little bit overweight. Erin's really good at addressing too, sometimes like our diet. Some of us, I think we both carry the MTHFR gene where we don't detox as well. We also really shouldn't have gluten or dairy. I mean, we can slowly sometimes integrate those back in with some help after a long time. Erin's the expert on that, so we will put her information out there if you want to like have her help you with that. But sometimes as simple as removing some of those foods helps with the pain. I know that helped me immensely. But can you help us kind of navigate someone who maybe they're not overweight, but they are, or you could be overweight, and like, how do I start moving? How do I start helping with my metabolism and keeping my sugar levels healthy? What are some products that doTERRA offers from a good, better, best standpoint?
Yeah, so to start with, again, in the morning, being more hydrated. Often we go for a caffeinated beverage because we want energy. The downside of that is we're going to just dehydrate ourselves further. So first and foremost, in the morning, having some recharge in that water with our lemon. Recharge is doTERRA's electrolyte product that has potassium, magnesium, and just different minerals and things that are going to create energy in the body at a natural cellular level. So we're not using caffeine or different additives that are going to eventually deplete our cells and deplete our energy later. Peppermint is another awesome go-to for energy, increasing your oxygen absorption, just to get up and move. Most often, people in our society are so low energy in the morning, so just making those two changes would be good. Better would be adding, to your recharge, our collagen, our MetaPower Advantage collagen helps again with energy. It helps so well with having the body have a proper inflammatory response. It's going to give, again, more cellular energy. Using your peppermint or another essential oil. I love spearmint. I tend to think that it's just a little more mild for me. So that is always first and foremost in my diffuser, sitting by my desk or on my kitchen table, just so that I use that to help just give me that energy. And then best would be having a practice incorporating the recharge, the MetaPower, an essential oil that would pep you up, and then also being proactive, because doTERRA is very mindful of that. And if you're trying to get moving and get active, I like to take my turmeric dual capsules every morning. So that's giving me energy. It's helping my body to be prepared if I have a rough workout, or just to give me that vitality that I need as the day goes more.
Oh yeah, I love that. And I use the Deep Blue products a ton. Like I sometimes even put them on before bed at night, just because like I'll sleep a little funny with on my neck. So sometimes like say they have like a sore elbow, knee, back, you could put the Deep Blue. We have a stick. We have the the rub. And then we also have the deep blue polyphenol capsules, which helps from an internal standpoint on keeping that inflammatory response down. And then we now have the frankincense capsules that have our frankincense oil and then the boswellic acid. So all of those things help with the inflammatory process. And it seems like, I know you as well as I tend to have a lot of inflammation sort of just by foods or different things because of that genetic disposition we have. So I think that's very helpful. I know the collagen, the MetaPower Advantage specifically, was a game changer for me quite a few years ago. I had actually had COVID, gained some weight very rapidly, actually. I think it was like 12 pounds in just a few weeks. I'm not quite sure what I was doing, but COVID put me down. I don't know if it did something to my metabolism, but I am not really someone who has ever struggled with my weight, but I put a lot of weight on very quickly. And I started to take the MetaPower Advantage, and I think it was about 3.5 weeks, and I dropped all that weight, which does seem fast, but I think essentially it just helped really restart my body. The collagen definitely helps me with my inflammatory process. I can cheat a little bit more, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I'm taking the MetaPower Advantage because it keeps the inflammation down, exactly like you said. And now the VMG Plus does that too. I feel like if I cheat with some bread, usually I try to do sourdough, but still I'm so sensitive that I notice that, but it's definitely very helpful. So those are all really, really great points for those that are struggling with those issues. So let's move on to stress and resting and managing that stress. So I find it really interesting. I think that stress is so much more profound than when we were kids. And I think it's like the interconnectiveness. I think that from the time babies are in front of the TV or watching YouTube, like my grandson watches Hey Barry. We let him watch it, not much, but when he was little, I was totally guilty of it. If I had to like start a dinner and I was like 10 minutes, he's going to be on that. But we didn't have anything like that. We had like Saturday morning cartoons. We watched like the Waltons and Little House on the Prairie. That was kind of the things that we were connected to. But nowadays kids, you see them on their iPads from like 2 and 3, whether mom's getting their nails done. I'm not judging because I get it, but I think that it just creates like a very anxious society. I even think my dogs are anxious, and this is why, because we have the Ring cameras up at the house. And when they hear the little ding that somebody's there, they just go like crazy berserk. So we are just so connected. Our kids couldn't get away with anything. We were tracking them on the cell phones. We would park in farmers' fields and get away with it. But now everybody can see where everybody's at. But there's no break from it. And so we're highly stressed. We've got notifications just coming at us constantly, and we just don't get a chance to relax. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with society today. So what are some recommendations or maybe other thoughts you have for people just in general? I know sometimes like grounding and getting out in the woods and all those things are so helpful. But if someone, maybe lives in a city and they can't do that, what are some things to help, one, reduce stress from a good, better, best standpoint, and then also sleeping and resting would be some good choices. You can do them one at a time or together.
I think first and foremost is, and we practice sky before screens. So every morning, like waking up with the morning sun and looking up at the sun and seeing the sun before you pick up a electronic device. And it doesn't matter where you live, as long as you can open a window, look out, go out your front door. Like you mentioned, grounding is optimal. If you can do that and energetically just be connected and grounded to start your day. Use some balance. I probably, before I see the sky, I go into the bathroom, I brush my teeth, I put some balance like across my forehead, on the back of my neck, just because it's so grounding and balancing and settling my autonomic nervous system down. If you have the luxury, as I do most days, to wake up without an alarm clock, that is just going to be awesome. Better is you've practiced, you're good, obviously, and then just maybe having a moment where you're focusing on gratitude and using your oils, whatever they may be that you're drawn to focus on what you want to accomplish that day, what you're grateful for, hopefully achieving in that day, and that you're even starting that day, and just practicing that. And then best is just having a morning routine, really, and then having that transition and transfer over into the rest of your day and into the evening. So I know we focus on most of this in the morning, but like in the evening specifically, making sure that you're not getting too much blue light, that you're using all of these electronic devices, like you mentioned, they're like a constant dopamine hit. Our kids are probably getting more dopamine released in a day than we did in a week.
This is crazy.
So that, again, is why there's so much more stress than anything we can ever imagine. So just definitely setting a timer on that phone to dim the light in your house as soon as the sun sets is a better practice. And just having a good bedtime routine with using your diffuser. If you have the luxury of getting a bath with some essential oils and some Epsom salts and relaxing and unwinding from your day.
Yeah, those are great tips. So if our viewers are like, we have no idea maybe what oils to look at. So they might guess lavender. That's a good one. You mentioned balance. Shinrin Yoku is really good.
Yeah.
Serenity, adaptive. We have an adaptive line, which is really good. Those would be some good oils to kind of look at. And again, it's all about their chemistry. Yeah.
Right. I love Copaiba. Copaiba
yeah.
is one that I go to all the time. Now we have it in a roller ball. We have it, I don't diffuse that one much, but I love the soft gels. I use those often, especially in stressful situations. Sydney uses them before every track meet just because they take the edge off.
Yeah.
Calm her down.
I love those too. And I do take those as part of my nighttime supplement routine, but then I also keep Copaiba by my bed and I put a few drops under my tongue. I think there's like some hormone shifts, I don't know, and it's kind of causing me some sleep issues. And so I found when I don't forget to do that, it's especially helpful. And I also love what you said, like you start your day with putting an essential oil on. I think our days should be like bookends. We start and we end with oils. That really helps to ground our bodies and then set us up for success for the next day. So that kind of takes us into, you talked a little bit about like the nighttime routine. What would be like a good, better, best option for someone who struggles with sleep? They really struggle with getting that rest to help their immune system restore, and then even just to have a good day the next day, because sleep is a huge issue. If you're not getting enough, our hormones, everything is related to that.
Right. So good would be the basic of some lavender or another essential oil in the diffuser, topically on your feet. We have all these soft gels that make it easy too. So whether it be Serenity, Copaiba, or Adaptive, better would be, making sure that you're turning off and unconnecting, that you're having a wind down time to go to bed. And best would just be, again, using your essential oils, maybe getting a bath, having them ready and accessible. Sometimes I forget to do them, but they're on my nightstand.
Yeah.
Last night, I couldn't go, and I just grabbed my vetiver, put it on my forehead, the bottom of my feet, and my big toe, and it was not long that I was out.
I know. I've done that too. And I do it a lot with Deep Blue. There's something about the tingle of that actually helps me relax. I don't know if it's just the tension of the day. We do use all the Serenity products too. We use the stick. We use we fling oil over our pillows, and then we usually have the humidifier diffuser and then a smaller diffuser right beside the bed. So we do have a lot of oils going in the room at the same time. But sleep is so important because it just sets the tone for the next day. So let's jump ahead to reducing toxicity. Maybe toxins in your home is like where you want to start. That's an area that you feel very passionate about. You've been using the regular cleaning products, and really indoor air pollution is a huge concern. It's much worse than outdoor air pollution, even in cities a lot of times. So a lot of that's coming from our carpets, our paints, our household cleaners, we're not airing out the houses, we're not opening windows. And then a lot of people use like plugins or candles or synthetic fragrances, and they have devastating effects on us. So when my kids were little and we were cleaning, you probably did this too. My kids cleaned right along with me. They didn't have to wear gloves because we were using all natural cleaners. They were getting the essential oils on their hands, but the commercial cleaners, you don't want to do that because your skin is your largest organ. You are going to absorb all of that toxic stuff into your body, and it's going to be very hard on your body. So we have totally switched over to natural cleaners in our house. Kids, cleaned right along with me. I mean, I remember Saturday mornings is when we cleaned at my mom's house. We all had to help, and we used like Lysol and Pledge. And I remember like holding my breath and opening the window and running out and then telling Mom I couldn't clean because I had a headache because the cleaner made me sick. Any excuse to get out of it. But I will say one aroma that I sort of loved was like Pledge. And I found that citronella essential oil has a very similar aroma. My sister used to clean for me. She's working somewhere else now, so she doesn't. But she used to use citronella when she cleaned, and I remember saying, Amy, like, what are you using? Like, that smells like Pledge. And she's like, it's citronella. And I'm like, that's like a bug repellent. Like, we use those oils typically in the summertime, but I fell in love with it. So I love to clean with that one specifically. But it does have, I think it's geraniol, and that is a really good surface cleaner. So it actually is very effective to clean with. But let's talk about what can we do in our homes to swap out some of those toxic cleaners. What are some easy ways to start integrating that? I remember when I learned about how harmful those were and I had a new baby in my home, I like went crazy. I don't know if you did that too, but it was like, I just took everything out from the cabinets and I just pitched them. I mean, hundreds of dollars of stuff. It was gone. Candles gone. Like, I went crazy. Cloth diapered those babies. Like, I was like, there is no toxins going to touch my kid. That's not 100% realistic, but some simple things you can do. I mean, even if you don't look at essential oils, however, lemon is a very inexpensive oil and it's very effective to clean with. Vinegar, baking soda. One of my most stubborn things is glass cleaner. I don't love the smell of vinegar, truthfully. So I found that like hydrogen peroxide and lemon works so well as a glass cleaner. So let's just talk about a couple things. Actually, doTERRA has many concentrates and different things that make it really, really easy to clean with. So I would say like a good option would be get some vinegar, get some baking soda. Those are very effective cleaners. Get some lemon oil. I personally love the Abode. I have that little concentrate there. So what we do in our house is we have just a glass spray bottle. We use the Abode cleaner concentrate and fill this with water. You can clean every surface with that, like literally kitchens, bathrooms, floors, and then a houseplant. That's another really easy thing to have in your home, a diffuser. And then do you have anything else to add to like kind of that good option? I was trying to keep it somewhat simple, but is there anything I kind of missed on a good option? I feel like those are some really easy swaps. A little bit better option would be we have the Abode laundry pods, we have dishwasher pods. You can grab those and swap those out for like the toxic cleaners. And then obviously a best option would be to have nothing in your home that's toxic, like swap out diffusers for candles, diffusers for plugins, get rid of all of those things. I like to use, you can put some baking soda. It's kind of like an abrasive thing in the toilet. And then I think if you put a little bit of vinegar over, it's like foams up, but we always throw some cassia oil in there. That's a very strong cleaner. And then obviously the sprays, we have On Guard cleaner concentrate as well. Just kind of having all of these things. But honestly, I find that non-toxic cleaning is actually so simple. You only need a couple products. So those are just a couple swaps. And our abode essential oil is something that you could add to your vinegars, your baking soda.
Yeah.
That one was specifically designed for surface cleaning. And there's some pretty fascinating studies that probably won't like specifically mention, but they were targeted to some really bad things that they can really eradicate. So was there anything I missed in that realm?
I mean, you mentioned sprays, but I think that is huge. And thinking back, this is probably my first thing I changed because I remember being pregnant and thinking, I can't smell this. I shouldn't spray this if I'm in this room. So why is it different if I'm not pregnant? Like, why can I use it later? So I think initially that is what made my more natural shift was, why can't I paint when I'm pregnant? Why can't I spray Pledge when I'm pregnant? Why shouldn't I do these things? Well, I don't think they're very beneficial for any of us. And obviously at that, more harmful level. And we know now that synthetic fragrances are more damaging than secondhand smoke is.
Yeah, that's crazy. And we just accept it because they're sold. We think they're safe, and we're just using them.
Yeah, and like people are Febrezing everything. Well, you can make your own natural Febreze.
Yes, yeah. Now, diffusers are so helpful. I feel like a lot of if you are somebody who burned candles, you probably really struggle with not having that aroma in your home. But doTERRA's diffusers, essential oils in general, cleanse the air. So you are actually putting good things in your hair, in your air. You're helping with mood. You're helping just help people feel happier and less stressed. So
not disrupting hormones.
Yes, yeah. It's the fastest way to your limbic system, which is controlling blood pressure and heart rate and just memory and mood. So some students find too that if they are using essential oils when they're studying and then they use those same essential oils when they take the test, their scores are higher because it helps them remember. I always use the story my grandma, she was such a good baker, and when she would cook cinnamon buns, that smell, but if I'd be walking down the street and I'd smell that cinnamon bun smell, I would immediately think it would take me back to my grandma's house and her cooking and just the warmth of her love, it's amazing how just one smell can take you back in your memory. So aroma is so powerful. So that's sort of the last pillar other than informed care. And that's more okay, so we have modern medicine, which definitely has its place. We love emergency medicine. I mean, sometimes we definitely need that. But when you look at what doctors should I go to? What will they look at beyond just prescribing me a medication to help me with my symptoms, which then I have to have another medication to help me, get away from these symptoms from the first medicine. And then it just creates this whole dynamo effect where we have so many medicines. So can you help us navigate what kinds of doctors are out there? Where can you look to find them? How can you help with some testing with what you do? And how do they figure out where do I start?
Yeah. I think first and foremost, if your doctor isn't allowing you to be an active participant in your treatment plan, you might need to look for another doctor. And by that, I mean, if they're not asking you, what's your diet look like? Are you getting all your good macronutrients, which are your proteins, fats, and carbohydrates? Are you eating mainly good, healthy, natural foods? Are you moving your body? What are you doing to manage your stress? If they're not actively talking about those things before prescribing you a medication, they're missing the boat on your health and wellness. If they're not listening to you, because you are the captain of your ship. And if they're not letting you be the person that lives in your body 24/7, being an integral part of that, you need to partner with someone that is going to support you in your journey. So it doesn't matter what the initials are behind their name. If they're not allowing you to have that role, you need to search someone else. You know, I guess personally, both of us have had great success with a doctor that is a functional medicine doctor. She's an MD by trade, but she always listened. She empowered us to take the ownership of our health and our children's health into our own hands. There's lots of, different medical doctors that have switched to that. Lots of doctors that have changed, like basically handed in their license because they feel more successful and empowering their clients. Basically, what I do is I help guide people through their own self-testing journey. And then I'm kind of like their coach to help them navigate getting those functional labs, creating a treatment plan that they're bought into, that they have ownership in. Because if you don't have that level of investment, you're not going to change or move the needle very much on your health.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. Yeah, we both have sought functional medicine doctors for your health, my health, our kids' health, and sometimes our kids have dealt with some tough things, and we were able to kind of navigate those naturally. But yeah, it takes time, and I always think it's interesting, like you said, like finding a doctor who's looking at your diet. I mean, if you take an animal to the veterinarian, usually they're like, "What's it eating?" Like the veterinarians know we're going to look at what the animal's diet is. But as humans, they don't always look at that. So no, I think that's such good advice. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. You were such a wealth of information, and we will have in the show notes how everyone can reach out and find you. It's pretty much your cell phone and your email is the easiest way. Erin, very simple with how she does things and very easy to work with. So yeah, thank you so much for being with us today and joining us. So also, as you navigate your wellness plan from the good, better, best standpoint, don't forget that we have the wellness assessment in the show notes. We also have a free ebook that you can grab on foundational wellness that really dives into the 3 things that Erin talked about at the very beginning, which we really feel is the foundation of health. And that's our VMG Plus, our E Omega Plus, and our PB Assist. And so that's really helpful to help you kind of navigate that. That link will be in the show notes as well. So thank you for joining us. Give us a like or subscribe or leave us a review below. And also don't forget that we will link up a lot of the products that we talked about. So with an easy click, you can just check those out and start integrating your own wellness plan today.